Perfect.
Excellent.
Okay, so speaking is Travis Van Cleef, and he's in Ontario somewhere. And he and I have gotten to know each other pretty well across this fall as he's been trying to teach me how to use Inventor. And so here's Travis's screen. Now, GoToMeeting is the software that we are using to teach with here, okay? So Travis, I've told them already kind of my thing about why this is an advantageous way for me to learn, that the one-on-one on my calendar when I can fit it in, and you just teach me in my office. So I'm going to hand it over to you now to begin your demonstration of Inventor.
Okay, excellent. Thanks, Randy. So what we've been doing lately is just using the GoToMeeting and the Autodesk software in tandem, and it's been a pretty powerful experience, I think, for us as well. We've learned a lot about how to convey the message. And if you can see my screen okay here, what I'm pulling up is Autodesk 360, and it's another, I guess, an addition to the Autodesk tools, and it's allowed us to, we've really leveraged it as well. So what I'll do sometimes is I'll upload a lesson, as you can see here. I'll give the link to Randy. I'll just copy and paste that into the module for GoToMeeting, and then he's able to go grab that pretty quickly. And so if you can see, what I've got here is just a PDF with some lesson plans on how to make a simple part in Inventor. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch over to Inventor, and we're going to take a look at how quickly you can get a 3D part like this. So what I'll do is I'll just come over to my application menu here and start a new file. So this is my open or my create new file dialog box. I'm just going to come over to the metric parts, and so now I've got some templates that are set up for, say, metric. I could do this in Imperial as well, but one of the nice things about Inventor is even if you're working in a metric file, you can still give it Imperial inputs and it'll translate it. So this is the environment, the interface, and it's got a nice clean ribbon across the top. If we want to start sketching out, we need to come up here to the 2D sketch. So when I ask it to create a 2D sketch, it's going to prompt me to choose a plane. So I'll just choose that one by clicking on it. And you'll notice that as I go into the sketch environment, you're seeing a little bit different set of tools. So these are the drafting tools, essentially. So I'm just going to start creating some simple geometry. I'm using a circle, starting at my origin. And to give this some very precise input, I'm just going to start applying some dimensions. And so this first circle, I wanted that to be 70 millimeters. So I just type in 70 and hit enter, and it brings that out. Now, if I want to apply dimension to my second circle, easily enough, I just dimension that as well. But this time I'm going to use that first dimension as a reference. So I just click on that dimension and then type in plus, I type in, once I choose that dimension, sorry, the 70, I'll hit plus 20 millimeters, and now I have a function. So if I do change this, it'll update anything else as well relative to that. So I actually still want that to be 70. I'll just bring that back. Just wanted you to see how that's a functional relationship. And if I use the view cube to go back into an ortho view, I can finish off this sketch. So I'm just going to add one more piece of geometry here. I actually exit out of the sketch, but if I go back in, I'm going to add what's going to be a spoke. So I just start over here on the end of my circle, and notice that I invoke the line command, and I don't have to go into an arc command to actually activate it. I just go back to the end point and hold down my left mouse button, and when I'm happy with my curve, I'll just let go of my left mouse button and bring it back. Now I've got a pretty close approximation as to what I want for this spoke, but I'm going to apply some constraints and make it exact. So first things first, I wanted this arc to be 6 millimeters, and I want this point, this center point for this arc, to be on the same horizontal line. So I'm going to change the mode of my line and apply a new line. So this line here is simply for reference, and if I zoom in, you'll see it's a red dashed line, And what that means essentially is it's just to create the rest of the sketch. I'm not going to create any 3D geometry with it. But what I'm going to do here is apply a an coincident constraint, and I'm going to click on that center point and bring it down to that line. So it locks it in, and I want to apply a 20-degree dimension right here. So I just do the dimension command again and apply that. Now the last thing, I wanted to make this top line and this bottom line symmetric about this construction line that I made. So I'll just use this mirror constraint, click that top line, click the bottom line, and then my axis of symmetry. And then the last thing I'm going to do is just make sure that these are tangent. So that's all right. I want to just bring that center point in a little bit and make sure it's the right distance away from this center point. So just one more dimension here. Oh. Click on that point and on that point and drag my dimension down. I want to make that 60 millimeters, and now I got an accurate spoke. So I'll finish my sketch, and now I'm out of the sketch environment and I'm back into the 3D modeling environment. So what I'm going to do is extrude this center part here. So as you can see, I've got a nice closed region, and this is a little bit different than AutoCAD in the fact that in AutoCAD I would have to do 2 cylinders and then remove this center region using a Boolean command. Inventor is really nice because it recognizes that I only want that outer region. So I'm going to choose a symmetric extrusion and give it a height of 40 millimeters. So you'll notice that it extrudes 20 millimeters either side of my reference plane. So I'm happy with that, but that other part of my sketch disappeared. But no matter. If you go over here to the model browser, you can expand this and see that you still have that sketch available. It's just been consumed. So I right click and I say share sketch, and now I can use this same sketch for another feature. So I'm going to do that. Choose this region here and go back to that symmetric extrude, and then I'm just going to make that 12 millimeters instead. So now I'm happy with how that looks, but I don't want to see this sketch anymore. I don't need to see this information, so I'm just going to select that sketch and uncheck visibility. Now I can see a nice good representation of what I'm working with, and you'll notice that now I've got 2 features listed in my model browser. So the next thing I wanted to do was just make a nice circular pattern. So I'm going to come up to the circular pattern feature, and I'm just going to select this one here, this little spoke, and choose an axis. It's a shared axis about this cylinder, and I want 6 iterations of that. So now I'm happy with that. I say OK. But there's some extra features that I wanted to apply, and I need to figure this out. If I was in AutoCAD, I'd have to go back and reinvent the wheel essentially. But because this is procedural or parametric, I can move this end of part feature back, and you'll see how it brings you back to that certain point. So all I want to do is go back before I created my circular pattern, because I want to add some features here. What I want to do is make some nice fillets, so I'm going to apply fillets to the top and bottom and to the sides. So let me just use my view cube to rotate a bit, and I'll choose when I see them highlighted, and that's good enough. I'll say OK, and now I've got that extra feature. So you see I've got a fillet feature here in the model browser. If I said that that was maybe at 2 millimeters, I need more fillet on that, I can simply go back and edit that dimension to 3, and it updates immediately. But I just wanted to show you that. I want to leave it at 2 millimeters. The last thing I'll do is put a quick hole, and I've got a number of ways that I can put a hole on that spoke. I'm going to use a concentric reference. So essentially I'm going to use that curve to place this hole. So I choose the plane first, and then I choose that curve, and it places it dead center for me. So now I want to continue making that circular pattern, but I want to add these 2 parts. So because I added them, I can go back to the circular pattern and edit that feature to include these other 2 features. And now it updates for me perfectly. And if I wanted to go back and even change how the diameter of this is, that's easy enough to just go back to the sketch, you edit the sketch and say, well, maybe I only want that to be 60 millimeters. And then when you come back to finish sketch, it updates for you as well. So I think the last thing that I had in that one that I was showing you initially was a chamfer on top, and I think I gave that a 4 millimeter chamfer. Okay, so now we've got two parts that look pretty similar, I think, and that took all of what, Randy? How many minutes did that take?
Oh, I didn't time it,
no?
Travis, but I was sitting here thinking that you make it look so easy that what I'm about to do now, it's not going to be this slick when I do this one, ladies and gentlemen. Well done.
That's why we have the beauty of this feature, right, where we can change over, I can see what your screen is, and now I can actually coach you through it.
Okay, so now I'm switching over.
Yeah.
And we have my screen up, and I'll bring up Inventor. And so I'm going to start with those same circles, right? Create a 2D sketch and pick a plane on which it goes. You stop me if I do something silly here. We are already past the point where I hope I chose metrics as opposed to imperial system. So I hope I did that. But if not, you'll be able to fix that, right?
Well, we'll be able to tell pretty soon. And even if you did, like I said, it doesn't matter because you could type in millimeters or inches and it'll translate it for you.
Okay. So we did two concentric circles. We started at the middle, and it didn't matter because I watched you, and you changed you drew the feature, and then you dimensioned. And what was the dimension of the inner circle?
I put it at 70 millimeters.
70.
So you could see that it's already saying it was millimeters, so you know that you're in your metric template, and you can just type in 70. If you want to do the inches, you can type in IN, and it'll recognize that you want it as an imperial dimension.
Now, Travis, I have a technological issue. I didn't hook up my mouse. Can I do zooming in from this with just without a mouse, or do I need a mouse?
Yeah, over on the right, you'll see that there's that little screen. There's a hand, and there's a magnifying glass underneath it. That magnifying glass will activate the zoom tool.
Ah, beautiful. Okay. Okay, and then we dimensioned the outside circle at what?
Well, now when you have the dimension, you simply just left-click to place it, and now you want to click on your 70, and that'll give you the reference, and then you type in plus 20 millimeters.
That didn't happen.
Okay, so put the cursor into the field where the dimension currently is. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah, so right now you're in dimension 2, right? So if you click on that 70, it'll say, okay, well, he wants it to be that dimension. So now type in plus 20 millimeters or plus 20.
Got it. Got it. Okay, cool. So it made it a relationship as opposed to a static number. It's 20 bigger than the inner circle.
That's correct.
Okay? And then you put the spoke on before you went any further, right?
That's correct, yeah. This way, it keeps it all in one sketch, and it makes it nice and easy if you do need to update anything in the future.
So that you ran out, and then did you click at a point? Did I pick a point?
Yeah, so the next click will place that line, and now you hold your left mouse button down to start that arc.
Ah, yes, and then we wrap around to 180 degrees, and then finish.
Well, right now, that line that you have on the bottom is probably constrained horizontally because of the way that you placed it. But that's okay.
Yeah.
We can do it another way. What I think we should try and do here is just remove the bottom line. So you want to hit escape to exit out of the line command, and then remove that bottom line. Yeah, just hit delete. Now start another line and just do it rough from that outside circle and try and rough in like a tangent connection to that arc. There you go.
Like that, right?
Yeah. So now
Okay.
you can actually apply that tangent, but it might have already assumed, it might have already inferred it. So hit
Yes.
escape to exit out of the line command. We'll just trim that piece off that's in the center. So you see the scissors up in the modify panel right above your mouse? Yeah. Now we'll just trim that extra piece off, and now we're good to go. So the next point is to create a construction line from the center of your initial circles over to the right.
So here.
Yeah.
And we just made a construction line right through the center of everything, yeah?
Well, we switched the mode onto construction. I think you just shut it off. So start your line.
Oh, I get it. Got it. So, and now I have to do line.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, we have a construction line.
Okay, so now you want to use your coincident constraint. It's the first one, right at the top left. Yeah.
This?
Yeah. So you just simply click on that center point and then click on the line, and it should go to that line. No, not that center point, the center point of your arc.
And then to the line?
The construction line.
Ah.
Oh, okay. We want to hit Control Z or undo. Okay, so let's try that again one more time. So the constraint, the coincident constraint, click on the center point, and then the construction line. Okay, let's try it the other way around. Maybe it's just we need to do the construction line first.
Doesn't like that either.
Okay, I think I see what's happening here. Okay, see, if you take a look at the center point of your other circles, I don't think that construction line is touching the center point. So when you do when you start at that center point, it actually constrains it along that line. So
Okay.
let's try creating that construction line again. Let's delete that one. And you'll notice that your construction line mode is still engaged, so you can just go back to the line.
And just make sure I get that center point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because this time you saw that it turned gray, and it told you that, okay, you're
Yeah.
on that one. And now you see that little constraint to the
Yeah.
to the bottom that said, okay, this one has to be
Yeah.
horizontal. Okay, perfect.
There we go.
So now we just want to apply those constraints and make sure that the dimensions are all set. So we give that outer arc a dimension of 6 millimeters. And to me, that looks like it's pretty much the way we want it to look. But let's just make sure that we've got that mirror constraint so that it's
All right.
totally symmetric. Yeah, it's right above your mouse. Over two more. It's the one that's like a square with the line through it.
This.
That one.
Okay.
So all you do is hit your top line, the bottom green line, and then the construction line. And you'll notice too that in the lower left, it's going to prompt you for your next move. So if you're ever kind of lost and don't know what to do next, you just look down at the bottom and it's telling you what to do. So you still have that mirror constraint engaged. So what you want to do now is go back to the dimension and just put 20 degrees in between the construction line and that top green line.
Got it.
Perfect. So that
Okay,
looks-
finish sketch.
Yeah, sure.
It's out of sight, so.
Yeah, so remember with the GoToMeeting, if that's in the way, you can just use that orange arrow and it'll kind of dismiss the panel.
Yeah. Okay. We have finished the sketch.
Okie doke.
Now we're going to extrude.
Yep.
I gotta get zoomed a little better. Okay. And we're going to extrude this surface. And if I recall correctly, we did symmetric.
That's correct.
And we did a dimension of 60?
Sure.
40?
40. Yeah. It doesn't matter. One of the things that I want to kind of point out is I use the dialog box to do my extrusion. And if anybody noticed, Randy used the flyouts, which is just a little bit different. And it's actually a little bit quicker way of doing that extrude, because the options essentially are right there beside your cursor. So now you need to just expand your extrusion 1 and select your sketch and share that.
And how do I share that?
Oh, you just hit escape. Right now that would be how you could rename it. You could rename that to original sketch or sketch number 1 -2, whatever you like. Really, once your parts get a little bit more complex, you might actually want to name the features. So
Right.
you just highlight the sketch and right click, and you'll see
And share sketch. Okay.
Okay, so now we'd want to use the view cube so we can see that other profile, and then just apply that next extrusion.
Okay, so extrude, and boom, to this. And we did symmetric, and I think you said 12.
Yeah.
And boom. Okay.
So
Okay.
now we don't even need to see that sketch. So if we right click that sketch, we can shut it off by clicking visibility.
Right click.
Yeah, highlight the sketch, right click, and where you see visibility, you can just simply uncheck that and the sketch disappears.
Right. Right. There it is. Okay, Travis, we have done what we set out to do. We demonstrated GoToMeeting as a way of learning software, and they got a feel for Inventor. So anybody want to ask Travis any questions before we sign off this? Okay? Travis, thank you so much. We will set up my next personal training sometime in the next couple of weeks.
All right, sounds good, Randy. Thanks for having me out.
Okay, you take care.
Yeah, bye now.